Alright folks, you are either watching this video for homework or you are watching it after you're done your EOC. So either way, we're starting on chapter 6, which is functions. The first thing I want to talk about is something that's called a relation. A relation is a set of ordered pairs. So you're just writing that in the blank spot on your paper right now. So you're writing it under a relation. It is a set of ordered pairs. Okay, so a lot of times that'll look like you have like 1, 2, comma, 3, 4, and again, those are ordered pairs. The domain are the x values, or the inputs. So for the example I just gave you, the domain would just be 1 and 3, because those are the x values. The range are the y values, or the outputs. So I want you to take a second and think about what would the range be for the example I gave for number 1. That's right, it would be 2 and 4. And of course I'm writing with a pen that you can't see very well. So ways to represent relations are ordered pairs, an XY table. So I'll use the same example I had from before of the ordered pairs would be like 1, 2, 3, 4. So as a table, that same example would be 1, 2, 3, 4. A graph, the graphical version of this would be 1, 2, 3, 4. It'll just be 2 dots. A mapping diagram is a little bit weird. It looks like 2 circles, and you have your domain in the left-hand side. So you'd have 1, 3, and then the 2, 4 would go here, and then you literally connect the dots, or connect the lines to whatever matches. So the 1 goes to the 2, and the 3 goes to the 4. So for example, if you had the points 1, 2, and then 3, 2, your lines would go 1 to 2, and then 3 to 2 for that. You can also represent them as equations, like that. Okay, so our first relation looks like the values that you have above, so -2, -3, -1, 1, 1, 3, 2, 2, or 2, -2, and 3, 1. So if you were to identify the domain for that, first of all, we write a set of numbers using, looks like a little squiggly line, and you would literally write out all the x values. So -2, -1, 1, 2, and 3. That's your domain. The range are all the y values. So -3, 1, 3, -2, and 1. So if you wanted to use a table to set that up, you would just literally write out the x and y values. Again, so you have -2, -3, -1, 1, 1, 3, 2, -2. If you're drawing a graph, you're plotting the points. So -2, -3, -1, 1, 1, 3, 2, -2, 3, 1. And 3, 1, which is 3 and 1's right there. Somehow I missed that in my table too. So it's 3, 1 here. The mapping diagram is the weirdest part. So again, your x's go on the left, your y's go on the right. So your x's would be, and try to put them in order of least to greatest, so -2, -1, 1, 2, and 3. And then on the right-hand side, the smallest number is -3. And then you go, -2 comes next on the y values. And then you have 1 and 3. So -2 goes to -3. -1 goes to 1. 1 goes to 3. 2 goes to -2. And 3 goes to 1 as well. Okay, so a function is basically a relation for which you have one y value for every x value. One y value for every x value. So basically, if you see an x value twice with 2 different y values, that doesn't work. Okay, so if you had 1, 2, but then you then you had 1 comma 6, those go to 2 different y values, so that is not considered a function. So below, you can look at these numbers and see if they are functions or not. You have 0, 2, 0, -2, 3, -1, 3, 1, 4, 0. So this is not a function because you have 0, 2, and you have 0, -2. And you have 3, 1, 3, -1, and 3, 1. So you have 2 x values that are the same that go to different y values. I want you to try 2 through 4. You can pause the video, and when you are done, the correct answers will be appeared. Okay, so hopefully you got yes, yes, no, because again, the first numbers are all different for number 2. Number 3, the first numbers are all different again, so you don't have 2 of the same x values with different y values. And then number 4, you have 0, 5, and 0, -5. And then also 3, -4, and 3, 4, and 4, 3, -3, and 4, 3. So you have many options that give the same x value but with different y values. The other way that you can check kind of visually is to plot the points. So for example, for the yeses, if I were to plot these points, they don't ever line up vertically. So if I have -5, 0, -4, 3, -3, 4, 0, 5, they're all in different spots. Whereas the ones that don't work for a function, the ones that do not give you a function, you can literally draw a line vertically through them. So that's called the vertical line test, and if you can hit 2 lines, or 2 points with the same line, that is not a function. So what I was just talking about with the vertical line test is if I draw vertical lines through this function, this is a function. Because you don't hit 2 points. Whereas this next one, not a function, because you go through 2 different points with the vertical line. Function notation you guys have actually seen before, but this is just a recap. Remember, this is the same thing as y, but we say f of x, meaning the value of the function f at x. So these mean the same thing. Okay, it's the same thing as saying y, but it doesn't mean times, it means of. And again, you guys know how to evaluate already, but I'm going to have you try a few of these after we go through an example together. A big difference with this is that you have to be careful with squareds. So if I do f of -1, f of -1, I'm plugging in that -1 for the x. If you see that, I'm literally substituting that in for x. So I need to do the same thing on the other parts. Make sure you use parentheses when you have negatives like this. Okay, like that. And again, you have to be careful of squareds. You don't have to do anything with that left-hand side once you plug it in. You're just simplifying the right. So if I do the negative of -1 squared, I get -1. Then I get +3 and +5. So my final answer for that would be 7. Okay, I'm going to have you try f of 4 next on your own. I'll have you pause the video, and again in a sec I'll have the answer pop up. Okay, so hopefully you got -23. If you didn't, be careful again with parentheses. That negative in front of the x squared is outside of the parentheses, so it's negative of 4 squared, which is -16, and then plus -12 or -12, same thing, and then +5. So you get -28 plus 5 is -23. All right, try 2 and 3 with a partner if you're in class. Just do it quietly because I'm sure some people are still working on the benchmark or the EOC. If you're at home, again, try it. Pause the video, and I'll have the answers pop up in a second. All right, hopefully you got -3.5 for 2 and 12 for 3. If you didn't, come and see me, or I can take questions on Friday. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I hope you have a wonderful evening. And make sure that you complete the 6.1 worksheet that goes along with this video.